Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sustain series of talks. So, people who have joined for the first time, Pune Knowledge Cluster is a central government initiative, and we are set up by the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. We work on several matters with respect to sustainability, environment, capacity building, health, big data, and AI, which runs as a horizontal to all of our other work. What we have been doing for a couple of months, or I would say maybe a year now, is we conduct these talk series by eminent experts in various fields who are working in sustainability and environment under our banner of Sustain. And the idea here is how we can understand what all work is being done with sustainability and environment with different facets for that matter. So, today, I welcome you all. And today we have a speaker, Mr. Ravindra Sinha. He is a founder and trustee of Bhujal Abhiyan Trust. It's a not-for-profit organization and they mainly focus on groundwater management. They also provide guidance to communities as well as authorities on protection and preservation and better management practices for groundwater. Now, we all know that groundwater is being depleting. It's one of the major water sources. And the groundwater levels are also decreasing because of variety of reasons like concretization, more built up area is increasing, so on and so forth. Mr. Sinha will explore more and dwell more on those things. So Mr. Sinha, he is also a management consultant and he has been at leadership positions in various organizations such as IBM, NCR Corporation, General Electric, Hewlett Packard, and Oracle. And now he is also associated with various NGOs as well as resident associations in Pune, PCMC also. And he is actively involved in various environmental causes which are related to tree protection, hills, river, amenity spaces, so on and so forth. So welcome, Mr. Sinha. I will hand over it to you. Like I mentioned, the medium will be, we'll hear more from you for next 15-20 minutes on community participation in groundwater management in urban areas, and then we can open the floor to the questions. All the participants who are here, I request you to put out your questions in the chat box, which Gayatri or me can take up later. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ashwini. I'll start my presentation. Yes. Yeah, is the screen visible?
Yes, Mr. Sinha.
Yes.
Okay. So, welcome, friends. I know this opening slide doesn't sound to be a presentation on sustainability or groundwater, but it is relevant. So, I'm from Pune, and Pune has a very dynamic civil society. And in 2022, we had 14 organizations in Pune and PCMC area who filed a petition in the Bombay High Court. And they demanded that the authorities, that's the center, state, and the local urban body, they ensure that equitable water supply as per the prescribed quality and quota, which is 135 liters LPCD, and the standard quality which is required, that be supplied to them. And they raised very pertinent points about water resources, about dependence on dams. They raised issues about groundwater contamination, parallel water tanker supply. But unfortunately, the High Court didn't dwell in many of these finer points. And what happened is they asked the urban bodies to provide their justification in terms of why they are unable to provide the adequate water supply. And finally, the order was passed last year where the Bombay High Court uh, asked the Pune Municipal Corporation, PCMC, Pimpri Municipal Corporation, and the PMRDA to constitute committees under the chairmanship of the Divisional Commissioner to hear out all grievances related to water supply. So they have to conduct a meeting once every 2 months where citizens, the authorities, and stakeholders are required to basically put their grievances across the board. And the report is to be filed with the High Court. So this is the situation with this particular PIL. Now, why it is relevant? Because now in January 2024, you start seeing the pushbacks which are happening currently. You see, PMRD is now trying to salvage this situation by keeping building plans on hold. Uh, there is a panel which has been appointed to inspect the integrated townships. There are a lot of these large townships which have come across Pune. They are spread into acres, and they also have water supply situation. And this committee is going to do the inspection of these townships. Then even the divisional commissioner mentioned in the previous hearing last month that without water supply, developers will not be given permission to construct. So we can uh, basically infer from this that the matter is serious. Now, if you look at the other side, where we are talking about the supply of water being dependent on the Water Resources Department, they are in conflict with the local urban bodies. So this is a news about a year back where the WRD has imposed a penalty on PMC because they have exceeded the quota. So the quota was about 13 TMC. They already drawn about 18 TMC. And figures are that it's going to be 21 TMC, which they draw from WRD, Khadakwasta, every year. And then also the river pollution which is happening. So you can imagine nearly 650 crores has been imposed on the local urban body in Pune. On the other side, we keep hearing about losses in water supply, losses on account of proliferation, on leakages, and the figure is astonishing. When they are talking about 8 TMC is out of 21 TMC which is supplied by WRD to PMC. Can it be possible that about 40%, 30 to 40% of the water which is provisioned for the city actually is lost on account of leakages, pilferages? But this is a sad reality we are looking into. Now we bring another dimension here. This is summary of some of the key aspects which we overlook. Now, if you look at rainfall, it is very important to understand that we are part of a rainshed watershed, large area of PMR, 7,000 square kilometers, and the water demand in in millimeters in terms of rainfall for PMR is 1084. Actual rainfall in PMR is 1015. So we already exceeded the rainfall which you get naturally. Then we talk about reservoir supply from PMC perspective. So 18 TMC is what we have been allocated. We have been allocated more actually, but 18 TMC is what PMC claims we get from WRD. And nearly 4 TMC is from groundwater, which is a report by Aquadam, and it's been substantiated by various scientific studies. Again, the population aspect which is there is 52 lakhs currently. We are expected to reach 60 lakhs. Daily supply, which is 1350 MLD now. Sewage is nearly 873 MLD, and daily untreated sewage is 423. So we, 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. So untreated sewage is really about nearly 30-40% of sewage generated is untreated. Which brings us to the wastewater treatment aspect. 856 MLD is current capacity. Okay, which is going to be augmented by 408 MLD. At present, only 567 MLD is being treated, on 60 MLD is defunct. So it means that even if we plan with the population rise, which is expected to be about 60 lakhs by end of 2030, we'll have 1650 MLD of sewage water, and still there will be a factor which is not going to be treated at all. So we would still end up discharging untreated sewage in the rivers. So there's a big policy gap in terms of how we are treating wastewater. And then again, we come back to whether we are actually a smart city, because when we did a survey of societies, nearly 60% of the societies regularly need to buy tanker water. And this tanker water, everybody knows, is nothing but groundwater, because they're getting sourced from borewells or duck wells across the city and periphery of the city. So if we are in such a shape, what about the country? So country, actually, everybody knows India is the largest user of groundwater, 250 cubic kilometers per year, which is twice that of US. Okay, but the surprising thing is that uh, the groundwater, which is replenishable, 228 billion cubic meters is being used for irrigation, where about just 25 billion cubic meters is used for domestic drinking and industrial purpose. So the majority of the use is still with agriculture. Now, the consequences are that the groundwater depletion, India will have only 22% of the present daily per capita water available in 2050, possibly forcing us to import water. Niti Aayog says that if the situation persists, there will be a 6% loss in the country's GDP. Also, 54% of the country's groundwater wells have declined. So we are all talking about these kind of data. And further to that, when we talk about in Pune, like 4 TMC, 4 to 5 TMC is groundwater, and we look at other cities across India, the average is about 55 to 56% of the water requirements, water demand in urban areas are met by groundwater. Now you will say, uh, is this just going to be talking about all these problems which we are facing, or is something going to come out of it? So yeah, so what happened is this problem was faced by us citizens. So I don't put myself in the category of an expert. So we took upon this issue about 8 to 10 years back, and we realized that if the community gets involved, that the citizens from different areas get involved in managing the groundwater of their area, probably something good will come out of it. And that's how we started a mission called Mission Groundwater, which later metamorphosed into our NGO known as Bhujal Abhiyan Trust. So what do we do? So how the community gets involved? It gets involved primarily in three verticals. One is by creating awareness. So we involve citizens, the housing societies, the NGOs, the government, and stakeholders engagement is very, very necessary. If we can't keep pointing fingers at the local urban body or the other authorities, we need to start talking and understanding the problem from their perspective. And then also the political representatives are a critical part in the entire water related business. And we had to reach out to them, and we did that, and we went up to different levels. And finally, then we also realized that unless there are some projects which we showcase, people will not understand the impact of community involvement. So we started working with organizations, with other NGOs, with housing societies on recharge structures in residential areas, and with the NGOs community recharge programs, and finally on public recharge systems with PMC. So awareness programs is still a core of what we do, and we have done about 60 till date, which are proper sessions which at least have a attendance of about 100 people. And by till now, we have reached out to more than 2,000 housing societies in Pune PCMC area who have benefited from these awareness programs. Because we just don't stop at imparting the awareness around groundwater, which is again imparted by two of our very noted trustees, Dr. Himanshu Kulkarni and Shashank Deshpande, who are both eminent hydrogeologists in India. And they basically do the presentations in these sessions. And we follow up with the societies when it comes to the implementation, when it comes to the design, and whether that area is recharge worthy, how to study the recharge priority maps, which are there in the public domain. So we help them, we guide them there. We also recognize the institutions, NGOs, which have implemented scientific recharge structures. So we build a community around that. Our engagement is with industries, with CREDAI, with the universities, colleges. And the success we had with PMC is actually notable because uh, our earlier mayor, the late Mr. Mukta Tilak, she was very instrumental in getting the groundwater cell formed in PMC. So she basically, when she realized that yes, groundwater was going to be an issue, she came up with this concept called Jal Yukt Shahar. So a city with sustainable water has to be the key. And based on that, our request of forming a groundwater cell in PMC was initiated. We also involved the other local urban bodies as well as the authorities in terms of the GSDA, the CWB, and special planning authorities like MIDC and PMRDA. What has happened is the groundwater story has become more visible in the print, in the media. People have started talking about it because of our engagement. So you see Pune newspapers frequently carry articles about groundwater management, depletion of groundwater, reasons for depletion of groundwater. So these are some of these the issues which we have touched upon and which have appeared in the press. This is the I was talking about earlier, where our late Mayor Mukta Tilak had announced the Jaluk Shar initiative, and from hills to roads, all the kind of initiatives which we had recommended, she had given a okay to that, and even funds were assigned. But this was pre-COVID. So after COVID happened, all this came to a standstill, and then revived again after COVID. And we finally got the groundwater cell formed in 2022, which is the first of its kind in the country, where we have an active body consisting of authorities, not only PMC, you have representatives from the GSDA, from CWB, also on that body. We have civil society organizations and we have experts on this cell. And what has happened is PMC has taken a lot of initiative on getting some survey for groundwater for the PMC region. So we hope that this will get initiated soon. So because we will not be able to manage unless we can measure what is the current situation. The figures which we arrive through our research and through organizations like Aquadam, we estimated there are about 1.5 lakh borewells in Pune city. So if we need to actually verify on the ground and do a primary survey, it will require huge resources. So PMC has stepped in. They have decided, yes, they will conduct a survey of all the groundwater sources in the city of Pune. And this is happening across India through various initiatives. So if it happens, it'll be good. So that was one part of it. But in the meantime, we have also started working very closely with other organizations and with PMC to revive water bodies which are crucial as recharge areas, as natural recharge areas for groundwater or discharge areas. If you see, this is a KTVR at Handewadi, which has been preserved because of intervention by PMC and support from some NGOs. So they funded this project and finally got all the rubble, dirt, garbage cleaned from this stream. And now the base flows have started. So the base flows are nothing but the flows which are after the monsoon. So we have seen that as late as November, December in this particular area. So indicating that the groundwater has been to an extent being revived. This is a percolation pond at Mohammadwadi, which was again a garbage dump, which has been revived. And final stages, some work is going on the filtration pits. Again, here another initiative which is recharge borewell on the Pashan Road, which is just on the verge of being completed, which will be a first of its kind, which will trap the surface runoff. And through a 3-tier filtration system, it will recharge the deeper aquifer. So we have a borewell at this site. Finally, what we are doing in terms of our future projects, and currently our focus is on the shallow aquifer project, which is the Amrut 2.0 project with Government of India. I will just show some more slides on that. And we are also working with a lot of education institutes for skill development of multidisciplinary students basically from different backgrounds around groundwater. Yeah, so this is the shallow aquifer project. I just wanted to take some time on this because this is unique of it, one of it, first of its kind in India, and 8 cities were selected for this project, Pune being one of the leading cities. The first site which we have selected for this project is Harantal Lake at Lohegaon. A lot of people know about this lake, but still, I think so many are not aware. And unique thing about this lake is it's a recharge structure. So now this is where the science comes in. After doing the geophysical hydrogeological studies of this location, we realized that it's a recharge structure, and this is what the actual schematic of how the aquifers are overlaid in that particular area, and how the interventions which we have recommended will enhance the recharge in this particular Lohegaon area. We have also done a report for the Urli Devachi stream. There's a percolation pond at Shivalewadi at Urli Devachi. And here again, the percolation pond ends and the stream begins, and there's a check dam. And this particular location is very unique in terms of recharge. It's got 3 different distinct deep aquifer systems, and the interventions are to have 3 recharge shafts at different depths here. If you can see the indication here, there are 3 recharge shafts which will be drilled at this site with recharge pits and tapping different aquifers. There is a pond at Dhairi which we are reviving, and this is actually a discharge area. It's not a recharge area. But the critical aspect is that we are working with the local community to have a large dug well to be built in this pond, and the societies nearby, their rooftop rainwater harvesting will flow into this dug well. So that is the plan in Dhairi. This is the current pond, if you can see. And this is a section of the large diameter dug well, and these are the aquifer systems in that particular location. In Mohammadwadi, we are reviving a old step well, which is nearly 100 years old step well, which is going to be revived. This is the current state of the step well. And this is again the cross section and the aquifer layers of the step well. And at Uttam Nagar, we have proposed a garden at this site, which is a high priority recharge site. And here we are going to, apart from having the catchment area treatment in this Bhujal Park, there's also going to be a recharge borewells taken here. As you can see, there are 3 different aquifers. So depending on the budget, we will be having recharge borewells at this particular site. So what about other cities? So we are interfacing with a lot of other cities where partners there, along with Mahua, are working on shallow aquifer recharge. In Thane, we are seeing that the Aga Khan agency has been working on revival of traditional ponds in the Vasai Virar area. In Rajkot, we are seeing recharge pits and recharge structures in urban complexes. Then even streams, they are undertaking recharge activities. The NGO there is arid communities. Dhanbad, again, there are 5 large dug wells which are being revived through Make Pine Abhiyan. Bengaluru is doing recharge in urban parks and gardens through biome. And even in Pune, we have submitted a report to PMC, and 6 gardens have been selected as a pilot for groundwater recharge in urban park gardens. So hopefully that project also will get through, and we'll see the beginning of recharge activities in the gardens in Pune. And Pune has nearly 200 gardens, and so does PCMC. So I think it will be a good project to have in Pune PCMC area. So how does the community get involved? I just gave you an insight as to what kind of work we are doing. And if anybody is interested, if you feel that yes, you need to associate with the kind of work which we are doing, you can visit our website. We have now created a urban rainwater housing handbook, which will be available for download from this link. That will basically provide all these schematic diagrams of how to undertake rainwater harvesting in different topologies. So rooftop, stormwater, footpath, we have given different topologies. In fact, we have for the first time given a topology of how you can use the basement seepages, because really a lot of buildings in Pune, the basement have seepages. There are some places that are very prominent seepages in terms of springs actually, and these can be channelized for primary use as well as for recharge. So that topology also has been clearly explained. So this book will be available in the next week for download on this website, mrgroundwater.org, and you can reach out on our email as well as on the number. What we do is we conduct the awareness programs based on the size of the audience. If the size of the audience is small, then we do a one-to-one on phone and we share all the literature. But if this audience size is significant, then we partner with the local organization there and we conduct these awareness programs. So anybody is free in Pune, PCMC area, Pune district area to reach out to us. For other locations, we have done online sessions, Nagpur, Nasik, Aurangabad. So we are open to that as well. So with that, I will end my presentation. This is a logo, and recharge, conserve, and sustain. That is our basic motto in terms of Bhujal Abhiyan. Yeah, thank you. We can take questions. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sinha, for that quite thoughtful way of putting out of what all happens in the groundwater space and what can be done at a community level. I request the participants maybe to put the questions in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and directly ask Mr. Sinha as well. Now, then I request you and Asif both to put your questions in the chat box then.
Hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for an educative, insight on groundwater. So, I mean, you said like we can be a part of the program and kind of contribute. So, I mean, in what capacity do you think somebody who's not a domain expert like us, if we want to volunteer, in what capacity can we contribute, Mr. Sinha?
Yeah. So you posed a very relevant question, because I am also not an expert. I'm not a geologist or hydrogeologist. I am a IT professional. I've been an IT professional all along my corporate career. And when I stepped into this particular issue, we were lucky to be guided by experts. So we are the interface between experts and the community. To put it very in a small, it's an understandable way. So if you connect with us and you have a group of people who are interested, or if you have a location which you feel can be good for recharge or needs to be studied from a perspective of water management or groundwater management, we can help you there. Because we have, for example, how people reach out to us, people who are doing plantation on hills, people who are doing cleanup of rivers and streams, people who are trying to save springs, okay, a community of societies, housing society federation, NGOs which work in different sectors around environment. They reach out to us. We work with them. We find locations in their areas or wherever they think they are suitable. We do a proper hydrogeological survey through our team of geologists and hydrogeologists. After doing this survey, we prepare a report, and then we reach out to the authorities based on the technical output which we have, so that they can't just counter us saying that you have just come to us without any information. We go to them with proper information, proper knowledge created from these surveys. So you can associate with us for your area or for any particular domain type. Like if you're working for tree plantation or working with river groups, for that also we can help you there. Or for any local area intervention, whether it's a stream or a pond or a well, or you want to know how many, what are the recharge strategy for your particular area, we can help you there also. Because, for example, Vagoli, when we had a awareness program, Vagoli has the aquifer system there is not very conducive for recharge. So if you start drilling bore wells, the deeper aquifers have very less yield. So the strategy there is to have more of storage and to have large diameter dug wells, which serve as a catchment for rooftop as well as a local group recharge kind of a project. So every location has a different strategy to be evolved after local discussions and surveys. Yeah, I hope I have been able to answer.
Yes. So the next question is from Asif. Asif, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
Asif. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Ravindra sir, for such an informative session. Actually, I'm working as a governance fellow in Punjab. I'm from Thane, Maharashtra. I'm working here in the district. So I got the opportunity to work on the Jal Shakti Abhiyan in the district, which talks about district water conservation plan by different departments of government. So I wanted to ask you how I can involve all the departments and community and civil society organization in a district and work toward water conservation because Punjab is facing groundwater depletion at an alarming rate. So could you suggest a strategy and how we can actually take help from experts, or if you can, if your organization can provide us with the inputs?
Yeah, so I don't have any direct connects with NGOs which are working in Punjab, but our mentor organization Aquadam has worked across India, and I can get details of NGOs which are active in Punjab and help you connect with them. The first thing to do is obviously understand what is the groundwater policy of the state, because in Maharashtra we have the framework of law is very clear. We have an act which defines how groundwater is to be used, what are the different permissions, regulations of related to groundwater. So you will have to first study what is the groundwater policy in terms of any legislation and rules around groundwater usage. With that as your as a base, then the next thing is to understand the recharge and aquifer maps of that area. So there are tools which are available. There is Bhujal Bhuvan, which is a uh, uh, portal of the Government of India, which has the recharge priority maps of across India. You can go on Bhujal Bhuvan and see for your location what are the different aspects related to recharge priority, and it gives you the yield of aquifers in your area. So that is one way of analyzing which are the priority areas to work upon. And what we did in Pune was a very small example of how to involve the government is by insisting that they form a groundwater-based body in the local corporation or municipal council where you are from. So we can send you the document which has been approved in Pune, and that same document has been sent to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which is now requesting all urban bodies in India to form a groundwater cell. So if something like that gets formed, then you have representation from the government authorities and the public as well as experts, and that will help to take informed decisions about what kind of strategy to have in your area in terms of groundwater governance. So we will stay connected. I will be sharing my number and email address, and I will help you connect with NGOs in Punjab.
I think we also have a question in the chat box, right, Gayatri?
Yes, we can unmute Pradeep. Just a minute. Yeah. Pradeep, can you just try at your end?
Yeah. Can you, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Sir, thanks for a very good session. I have one question that could it be implemented in the name of law? If we can implement a law to preserve the groundwater, is it possible by making a law?
So, what has happened is in the state, like water being a state subject, okay, the state has to pass a law. Now, a lot of states, 14 states in India have laws related to groundwater. The rest don't have. So, if we look at Maharashtra specifically, it was a pioneer in drafting and implementing the law. 2009, the act was drafted and passed, and finally got assent only 2013. But anyway, it has very good regulations in terms of how to uh, monitor, how to define ground use, how to map the aquifers, how to conduct surveys, regulations related to the depth of bore wells, regulations related to the quality of groundwater. So we do have that in the state of Maharashtra. The issue is that the authority of managing groundwater is vested in Maharashtra with the MWRRA, which is the Maharashtra Water Resources Regulatory Authority, which is Mumbai based, and it's more like a judicial body. And when you need people on the ground for doing the monitoring and other aspects, we have to go to the local urban body, which they don't have a single geologist or hydrogeologist. None of the urban local bodies have. So that's a big knowledge gap there. Then if you go to GSDA, which is the Groundwater Survey Development Agency, they do help us, but then they are a survey and development agency. They don't work like a regulatory agency. So law is only good if it is implemented and there are uh, penalties associated with non-compliance, which unfortunately is not there in the case in Maharashtra. So penalties are there, but there's hardly any case where we have heard that somebody's been penalized for illegal extraction of groundwater or uh, drilling a borehole beyond 60 meters, which is the regulation, or polluting groundwater. Because when it comes to pollution, then GSDA raises their hands and says, now you have to go to MPCB. MPCB says, we have nothing to do with groundwater. Go to MWRRA. So MWRRA is like a judicial body. Then you have to give them a petition with all evidence. So these are the gaps in the governance model which are there in Maharashtra. Similar gaps are there in other states as well. There is a Central Groundwater Board, Central Groundwater Authority as well, which is trying to basically bring all into parity, bring them all into some semblance. But that is going to take some time. It's a very difficult task. So as community organizations, we sensitize people, and we have been able to get at least that sensitivity that when anybody is drilling a borewell, we tell them don't go beyond 60 meters because that's the law. So people listen to us, at least most of them. At the same time, rainwater harvesting has been compulsory since 2005. So the state GR, the Act also talks about 2009 Act also says the DC rules of the municipal urban bodies also define mandatory rainwater harvesting. So, but if you don't do rainwater harvesting, there's no penalty. So the penalty is very minuscule. So we don't have the PMC going behind buildings which have not done rainwater harvesting, or they have done also. If it is not maintained, then it defeats the purpose. So we'll have to build a governance model around that. These are the initial stages which we are going through, but I can see that it will very quickly it will scale up.
So if there are any more questions, I think there was a question about can people be associated in any voluntary capacity?
Yes. Yeah, we are currently doing work in Saswad, in Alandi. We are doing work in Mulchi areas, even in the cluster of Hindawadi, Man, Amaranji. So we keep requiring people for helping us with contacts, with surveys to be done on the rainwater harvesting potential. Even if it is not these areas, even if it is any other area, and people want to associate with us, they can get in touch. And that is the reason why Bhujal Abhiyan was formed, because we already have organizations like Aquadam and all, which are fantastic in groundwater research, but the people connect has to come from the people. So I, being a non-domain expert, I'm nothing to do with geology or hydrogeology, but concerned about this subject. And when I reach out through my civic organizations and connections, that's how the experts then step in, the government authorities step in. So anybody is free to join our movement. That's why we named it Bhujal Abhiyan and Mission Groundwater. It's a mission. So everybody's welcome to join the mission.
So if we have no more questions, then Gayatri, should we have a group of?
Yes. So we request all participants to turn on their cameras.
Done?
Yes.
So, Ravi, it was wonderful to have you here and discuss about it. I have myself witnessed how Bhujal works with the local governments, because PKC also being a part of that groundwater cell, and
Yes.
how you have convinced the PMC to ensure that they come up with this. And now with your and Aquadam's plans, they are moving ahead with better management of groundwater, at least in certain community gardens and all. So we look forward for more such interventions, and definitely these efforts will pave forward for increasing the groundwater management in the city. Once again, I thank everyone for joining. Thank you, Mr. Sinha, and have a lovely weekend. Thank you.